Hey team, this is Mr. McAtee. You guys have a sub on Monday, so if you're watching this, you should have already completed the warm-up. If not, please press pause and go ahead and complete that, and we'll review it together. Alright, so hopefully you set up your problem number 1 like this. We have a scale of 1 inch to 50 miles. Please box that if you haven't. They tell us it's 3 inches apart, and then we're looking for how many miles apart are they really. First thing we need to do is set up our real world, and we're looking for how many miles. They tell us that it is 3 inches apart on this map, and we're going to make our scale match the real world. So there's 1 inch on the bottom, 50 on the top. That's in miles. We double checked that the top matches and the bottom matches the units. Okay, we're set and we're going to start solving. 1 times 3 is 3. So 50 times 3 is going to give us the number of miles. 50 times 3. It looks like the actual distance between these two cities is 150 miles. Number 2 is a little bit of a percent review. Valentine's candy is on sale, 75% off. What is the sale price? It originally sold for $10, so we're looking for the new price. This is just a regular percent problem. 100 minus 75 is 25%. Make it a decimal. And we should be multiplying 10 by 0.25. You know what, let's set it up so that the 10's on the bottom. I don't want to deal with the 10 on the top because the 0 will make life a little easier. 0 times everything is 0, 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 2 is 2, and we're going to place the decimal. Okay, it looks like, wow, the sale price is $2.50. That's pretty good. Number 3. This is an equation. We're going to add 4 to both sides. And when we have a fraction, we'll multiply by the reciprocal. So this will cross cancel the left and leave x all by itself, which is what I want. Let's cross cancel 2 and 12. So you get 6 times 3 is 18 over 1, or just 18. Okay, so number 4 is on the board now, and you can see that we solve this just like an equation, but the biggest difference between an inequality is this greater than sign. And the moment that we multiply or divide by a negative number, notice how it flips. If you forgot that, change it on your paper right now. And the graph looks like this. Pac-Man doesn't have a chin, so we don't fill the circle in. X is less than negative 16. This would be our graph. That's our answer. Flip your page. Today's aim is students will be able to solve problems using the scale factor. Just like we did on Friday, but these problems will be a little more challenging. And because they're a little more challenging, we're going to also use the unit rate. Period 5 made a comment on Friday that this is kind of like a combination of proportions and unit rate, and they actually said they were kind of excited for it, which is great because this tends to be something 7th graders run out of the room screaming when they see, and you guys have already done an amazing job on Friday starting to master this. So let's rewrite what a scale drawing is. Scale drawings are types of proportional relationships And when given a scale drawing problem, today we're going to identify the unit rate. And we're going to find it, use the unit rate to find the missing value. Friday's problems were all very simple, and we just had to look at the scale because the scales were all really simple. Today's scales, you'll notice, are a little bit scarier. So you always want to set your scale or your unit rate still so that the units you're looking for are in the numerator. Let's check out number 1. A map has a scale of 2 centimeters. Actually, before I go on, you guys forgot to mention that this is going to be a graded notes page. So this is worth whole 15-point packet, 5 points for your notes, and 10 points for your bronze and partner work. Make sure you have it looking exactly like mine. And if you have questions, just raise your hand. The sub will pause the video and you guys can discuss it. Together, you're all pretty bright. I think you can get this as a team. So back to 1. A map has a scale of 2 centimeters equal to 75 miles. Box it. If two cities are 11 centimeters apart, how far apart are they in miles? So how should we set up our unit rate? Well, let's just start kind of doing this like we would on Friday. We have the scale. Your scale is 2 to 75. And then we're going to set up the real life or real world situation. And we're looking for how far apart they are in miles, so that's pretty easy. Miles is on top. That means that 11 centimeters goes on the bottom. Okay. So from here, I want to use the scale, and we're going to set this up, but we're going to notice something that you noticed on Friday. Going from 2 to 11 is really not as simple as we had been doing these. 2 times something is 11? I don't know. Whenever you have a problem where we can't really just quickly mentally do that process, we can use the unit rate. And I'm going to set up, just to the side of this, a unit rate to get. We'll call it UR. So I know how I get the unit rate. Well, I want how much is in 1 centimeter. I'm just going to divide 75 by 2, kind of like you normally would. If you have not already, well, I'll do this one for you, and if we need calculators, I'll send your rows over there. But 37.5 would be your miles. That's your unit rate. 37.5 miles is 1 centimeter. From here, once you get the unit rate, we can find any amount just by multiplying by 11. So now that you have your unit rate, we're going to multiply 37.5 by 11. And today, before you get to partners, I will allow you to go grab a calculator. But let's do this one on the board. Looks like it's 412.5. So this 11 centimeter distance on a map is actually 412.5 miles. That's your answer. Okay, let's get a little trickier. So the floor plan of a house was drawn using a scale of 3 centimeters to 4.5 meters. Box it. We want to find the actual length if we know 5 centimeters is on the drawing. So let's set up our scale first. The scale is going to be 3 to 4.5. And we want real life. And then we're going to have a unit rate this time in between. And we'll still have the scale. So the real life is going to be the actual length, which is in meters. They tell us there's 5 centimeters on the map. We don't know the real life meters yet. They give us the scale, 3 centimeters to 4.5 meters. And you can tell here, I can't really go from 3 to 5. Uh-oh, that's not a really easy conversion to make mentally, so we're going to set up a unit rate and find how much is in 1 centimeter. Let's divide 4 and 1/2 divided by 3. We have a fraction this time too, so there's all sorts of problems with using the Friday's method, but today's method should work. Let's set this into an improper fraction. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So we have 9 over 2 divided by 3. You guys have gotten really good at dividing this, and this is a skill that scares a lot of 7th graders. Keep, flip, and change. 9 over 2 times 1 over 3. We're going to cross cancel, and you get 3 over 2 meters per centimeter. So if I want to know how many meters are in 5 centimeters, I can multiply 3 over 2 times 5. 3 over 2 times 5. And that gives me 15 over 2. So in real life, this measurement was actually 15 over 2 meters, and we can simplify that, that would be 7 and 1/2 meters is in 5 centimeters. Okay, so take a breath. We'll have a lot more practice with that. This is a really hard skill that we'll master this week together. Okay, so on a map, 0.5 centimeters equals 65 kilometers. If China and New Sweden are 4.5 centimeters apart, how far apart are they really? Let's box our scale, circle what they give you, and set it up. Scale is going to be 0.5 centimeters to 65 kilometers. We want the real life scenario. We'll have a unit rate to help us get there and the scale. The real life is going to look for how far apart they are really in kilometers. I don't know that amount, but I know that on the map they're 4.5 centimeters. The scale is going to be 0.5 centimeters to 65 kilometers, but make sure we match up the top with the top. So this is 65 km and 0.5 cm. Okay, so that matches km, cm, we're good to go. I'm going to start finding the unit rate because I don't really know what 0.5 times something is to get to 4.5. Sure, you could mentally solve it, some of you mathematicians, but we're going to practice the unit rate method now. So let's do 65 divided by 0.5. And in a minute, I'll let you get a calculator today because I'm more worried about this process than your knowledge of decimals. 65 divided by 0.5. That equals 130. Okay, so if that's our unit rate, there are 130 kilometers in 1 centimeter with this scale, this drawing they did on a map. Well, what do I do with that 130? I multiply it because I can multiply anything by the unit rate to find an unknown value. Well, 130 times 4.5 looks like it's going to be my answer. 130 times 4.5. And again, I'm not too worried about you like really fretting over the multiplying part of today. I just want you to get the process down. So use a calculator. In a minute, I'll release your row. 130 times 4.5, and you should get 585. So there are 585 kilometers in real life based on this map when you move 4.5 centimeters. Okay, go ahead and work on number 4 on your own. Try this one as a you try and in about 3 minutes. You can press play, and I'll give you the answer. Okay, so hopefully you had enough time to work this problem out. This one's an interesting one, and I like to end on it because you can solve this either way, unit rate method or the mental math method. And the reason for that is because it's kind of easy to go from 1 to 2.5. You just multiply it by 2.5. You could also get your unit rate, which is 8, and we multiply the 8 by 2.5. So your lesson today is mostly going to have really complex numbers where you have to do the unit rate method, but you might encounter a shortcut where you could use mental math like number 4. And go ahead, when you see that shortcut, might as well use the mental math part and not use unit rate, because this is a little bit longer, but it's really useful if you have pretty intense fractions or decimals. Okay, flip the page. Today's bronze is worth 15 points. You're going to turn this into the in bin when you're done. If you don't finish any of these, you are going to finish for homework with your homework page. Your homework page can be picked up once you've checked the bronze with the sub, and you know the drill. You should be on task, you should be quiet, and you are working with a partner unless the sub directs you to go independent. That's the way the cookie crumbles, guys. Have fun. I'll see you tomorrow.